that there's a difference between like an insult and I forget what the other one was. They didn't say like demeaning someone, but calling him out or something. I don't remember. So we did some little posts about character names and all that fun stuff. Shiflet was getting mentioned a lot, and certainly was kind of expecting with Shiflet. This part is where most folks were focusing on. Why shifty work?
See, I thought I sounded so stupid when I said that. I said Mr. Shiflet is kind of shifty. I thought I sounded so stupid when I said that.
What's shifty mean, though?
It's like shady, like you're immoral, like.
Okay.
You say one thing, but you really mean another, like you don't stand by your word.
Well, if you were to describe who he is, like really, what is he? Besides saying like a one-armed tramp. Yeah, he's a con man. So his whole purpose is to certainly take advantage of people and use, his looks to kind of his advantage. So yeah, he certainly is going to be a shady kind of individual. There were some other folks, and I can't honestly remember what was all first period and what was all, fourth and seventh and whatnot. But also taking a look at a couple other things with Shift, and certainly the shady would be part of it.
I think there was a change of character. He was definitely a dynamic character, so like the shift in like ideas.
As in that he shifts. What changes would he undergo?
He went from being like moral and like I don't know, being like a normal person, and then he just marries what he thinks is a 15 or 16-year-old girl. I just thought that was weird.
He's at least told that she's a 15 or 16-year-old girl.
Really 32.
I think he knows what he's getting into, at least so far as age and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe some shift or some change in morals. Emma?
He went from like preaching God to abandoning basically disabled men.
So I went from preaching to abandonment, and you folks were criticizing me when I said don't get married. It left at a diner. Although he did, to his credit, pay for lunch. So use that $17.50.
Yeah, no,
I'm confused on why he was all happy and then he was just crying when he was driving the car for no reason. And then the random kid. Wait, what does that kid have to do with anything? Yeah, and then like we were talking about how mothers are like God, and then he was like, "Your mother's a pig and I'm a rat."
Said yours is a flea bag, mine's a flea bag, yours is a stinking polecat.
And then he was crying for no reason, and I don't even.
And drives off into the thunderstorm.
Yeah.
What? The one that she played with.
I just don't understand.
Yes.
I also don't know if Lucille was there at all.
Is he
Lucille
like
was gone.
like a different version of his own moral self or something? Is that like?
I missed the first part. I heard is he, and
Is
then
that like? Oh God. Okay. So is like when he picks up the kid and like he just kind of starts talking. Is that supposed to be like he's kind of faced with a younger version of himself? Like,
I think that's a distinct. And here's one of the things that I like. Things that you people, students who have to write essays generally don't like is O'Connor tends to be very ambiguous. And so when it comes to our your literary devices and whatnot, keep in mind one of those things is ambiguity, and ambiguity can have that negative connotation where your essay is very ambiguous, like pick something, specify, be specific. It's too vague, too general. But ambiguity also would be one of those things where there are, from a device standpoint, that there's multiple meanings that can be derived that you do have elements of support for, and it's, I don't want to say it's kind of left up to you, but in the sense that, it's not a definitive kind of answer. And she does that, and I think a lot of short story writers tend to do that, because you're dealing with limited space, but she tends to do that quite a bit. And her, we've read both stories, there is certainly a moral aspect that exists in both, and you have rotten people that exist in both. And not purposely doing this, but I think one of the nice things about having O'Connor come after Siddhartha is that conversation that we took a look at between Siddhartha and Govinda, where Siddhartha goes, no one is purely good, and no one is purely evil. I think is something that O'Connor would agree with. So I do think that Shiflet is having a little bit of a, and Hannah was kind of mentioning this, a little bit of a moral dilemma that is taking place. I mean, what's the con man's number one goal? At least for him, money a little bit, but I'd say he has something that he's really looking on more. The car, like I can get that car, and now I can get that car and $17.50 and a paint job, that she's going to pay for. But that car is, that's the primary goal. And sometimes folks will go, car, he's shifting it in gear and all those kinds of things. He's a shifty kind of character. Not the words that Morgan is throwing out over there, but a shifty kind of person. So, yeah, the car is the number one goal for him. And by him cutting loose with Lucy now, he takes care of all of his responsibility. He doesn't have to do anything anymore. But at that point, he's not happy. Like he leaves her, everything should be okay. It's me, it's my car, and my, little stumpy arm hanging out the window, and I'm still not happy. Sees the kid, picks him up, and it's almost as if I'm going to do something to try to make up for what I've done. And so talk about how wonderful, why would it make sense if you're trying to do something good? Why talk about mothers if you're Shiflet to the little kid? The kid's probably, running away from home. Just a little fifth grader with his, little suitcase on the side of the road, picks him up. So by talking about how wonderful mothers are, and, the worst thing is to leave your mother, he's trying to do a guilt trip on the kid so that maybe he'll go, you know what, I should go back home. The irony is, what has he just done? Took a girl away from her mother and, Lucy Nell. And so, I think he sees maybe some of himself in that he'd do the same thing. And is he trying to make up for the sin that he has done and return this kid back home? But it completely backfires where, your mom's terrible, my mom's even worse, I'm getting out of here and going on my own. And at that point, he's kind of like, morally a kind of a crossroads. Before he picks up the kid is when he sees the sign. So by helping out the kid, maybe he's doing a little bit of redemption. But if I try to help Shay and Shay doesn't want anything to do with it, then how can I, ever be actually redeemed? How can your essay grade improve if you and I never actually talk about it?
Argue about it.
Right. It's not going to happen.
Debate.
Right.
A valid. I can win back my points. I'm confident.
Most of the comments were certainly going about Shiflet, but with the craters. Squared. Why do you think there's two of them?
I think part of it is that, and they also share the name. I think
Right, two with the same.
I think part of it was the grandmother was kind of like almost living vicariously through the daughter in a sense, because like she always was like, well, I want her to have a husband because that's what I had, and I want her to have this because that's what I had, and like.
Mom lives through daughter.
I thought that it was like the mom named her daughter after herself because she has a hard time with the change. Because she always says like, I'm never gonna let any man take my daughter away
Mhm.
from me, all this stuff. So she like wanted some type of permanent connection with her daughter.
And if they do, and if someone does marry her, they're going to live here, kind of thing.
So even if her last name changes, because she does get married,
Mhm.
her name's still always going to be the same as her mother's.
So more of a, you said like a permanent. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the Y2 necessarily, but.
I said that they were juxtaposed because I read Abby, I think it was Abby's comment about how they
would say certainly that juxtaposition is something that tends to come up quite a bit in her stories overall, and certainly it's going to happen with Shiflet as well. And then, Morgan, I don't remember if it was yours or you were responding to someone who talked about like the crater part. Was that your original posting? So what were you saying about crater?
Well, they both have like an empty hole in their brain because the younger Lucy, she never talked. So I'd say like that's a thing, like, and then the older Lucy, she wants a son-in-law for her daughter, so it's
So in some ways, both are therefore incomplete. And you know, and really the home and whatnot for older Lucy now is kind of an extension. I mean, it's in ramshackle kind of condition. Hey, you want any gum? I don't have any teeth. Oh yeah, okay, I'll just keep that gum to myself. So physically, she's becoming kind of old, decrepit, and really, what can she probably not do anymore? Take care of her daughter. We don't know how old she is, but we know that Lucy now is not 15 or 16, even though that's the way that she's trying to, kind of advertise her as. So she's probably, in her 60s. She's by herself. Once her husband died, it seems as if just about everything died. The house went, to its current condition. The car stopped working at that point. Lucy now, the younger one doesn't have the ability to speak. So like she's never really kind of been able to grow the way that she wanted. In a lot of ways, mom's pretty much burdened. And what does Shiflet do? Being the gentleman that he is, fixes the house, fixes the car, and takes it, and alleviates that burden, from her. So Shay, you're just a wait at home. Shiflet comes over, removes Shay. Yay, one less mouth to feed. We don't have to worry about it. Oh, by the way, we'll never see you ever again. And in some ways, like if you go back and take a look at the mother's goodbye to the daughter, I mean, it's like you kind of picture they're looking through the window of the car. There's not she puts your hand on the glass, but it's kind of like that little scene where it seems as if mom even kind of knows that she very well might not be coming back. And in a lot of ways, and not trying to defend Shiflet, this is why he's a wonderful person, but in a lot of ways, you could take a look at is mom the more devious character of the two, where she's conning the con man to take the wife away. She's never going to talk back to you. She can't talk. No, it's bird.
Yeah, but I'm saying
I know.
response.
That was not an insult, by the way. I would not consider that one an insult. That does not count towards my 4.8.
But you get a point for mocking in deceitful tone and condescending tone. Starting tomorrow, I'll keep track. So.
I wouldn't give up a casket of jewels for her, but I'll give you the car at $1,750 and paint for the car, and all that kind of stuff. So in a lot of ways, it's almost as if mother is the one who's trying to con the con man so that she won't have to worry about it anymore. And again, the world's full of rotten people is one of those things that O'Connor's kind of trying to emphasize with it. Anything else you see going on? It doesn't have to be character name related or whatnot.
What's the whole angel of God comment? Why does it smell so weird?
Well, the spelling is more for like the dialect, the southern drawl, because we're all her stories are going to be in the South.
He's like you're an angel.
Who says angel God? God, the waiter. Where's the waiter work?
The hotspot.
Hotspot. I know I haven't said anything yet. I'm just staring at you. Other things you notice. Get to it.
He's like, oh, I'm so pretty.
She's innocent.
She's an angel of God.
Anything else? No, but it could be. It does. Yeah, I'll go with the halo. Could be. Who leaves her at the hot spot? What Shiflet? We said a con man. But what is he? What's he carry in his one good arm? No, toolbox, because he is a. What does he do for Lucy Nell? Bird. What's he do to the car? And when he brings it out of the shed, she writes it that he's sitting upright driving it as if he had just raises it from the dead.
I feel like Alex right now. You're like,
What happens when he smiles? She does a simile. He smiles like a. He has a snake, serpent-y kind of smile that's going along with it. Keep in mind, what is his name? He is Shiflet. What does he do? He goes back and forth between good and evil, where that potential resides in him no matter what. When he drives off, you said the cloud is like a turnip, that's descending. What's his very last line? He's going off into the water, and his last line, break forth. Wash the slime away from the earth. And I said about ambiguity, and I think slime here is really something that can be very ambiguous, because what's the slime? Could be him, where if you're going for, wash the slime away, where he could pretty much, destroy me, eradicate me, wash me away. Or if it's something more positive, what's the slime?